ever since Good Friday I've been saying that I think there's going to be some kind of major natural event that's going to reflect how old Jesus or Josh was when he died. And I have a feeling he died as a teenager. My gut feeling is he died aged around 16. And by counting the days since Good Friday, it's Good Friday, 14th of April 2017, plus 16 days lands you on Sunday, 30th of April 2017. So that was my gut feeling. That's kind of what prompted me to make this prediction. And it's not really my prediction. It's actually, the feeling has come from a couple of other boys who are no longer here. And it's interesting because my birthday was 13 days after Good Friday this year. So it was very tempting to go with my birthday. But then I thought, no, I think something might happen on my birthday, but that'll just be a sign of something else that's going to happen 3 days later. And yeah, it's pretty amazing, because it does look like there is an event unfolding now in the United States that is coinciding pretty much smack bang on the date that I flagged. So I will show you just quickly. This is an article that was published at 7:30 AM on Saturday, 29th of April 2017. And as it says, life-threatening flash flood danger will persist through the weekend in the Ozarks, Mississippi Valley. So part of the danger with this event is that the ground is already saturated from heavy rain over the past week. So the threat of more flash flooding is high. Major river flooding is possible in some areas, lasting for several days. Life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding will be widespread through this weekend in a broad swathe from the Ozarks to the mid-Mississippi Valley, as another round of heavy rain targets the rain-weary region. As of early Saturday morning, heavy rain stretches from Oklahoma and Kansas northeastward into Indiana. Numerous flash flood warnings have been issued due to the persistent rainfall. So this map here shows the situation as of a couple of hours ago, and that's where the storms and rain are currently focused. I've talked a bit about St. Louis. It's a city that gets quite a big mention in The Dark Tower by Stephen King, which is a pretty cool story. And continue reading. The downtown area of Reeds Spring, Missouri was evacuated early Saturday morning as the water was up to a foot deep. Water rescues were also reported in Heron, Illinois, Saturday morning. Elsewhere, roadway flooding was reported from Missouri to Ohio Friday night into Saturday morning, including stalled and stranded vehicles. In addition to the warnings mentioned above, flood watches have already been posted in parts of 11 states. The eastern half of Oklahoma to lower Michigan. So the area that's currently under flood alert is shown here, and flood warnings are now expanding at a rate of knots. And that definitely includes the area around St. Louis, but also all the way down to Joplin, Evansville, Louisville, Cincinnati. It's a big area that's being affected here. Also goes all the way down to Oklahoma City and Little Rock. Local National Weather Service officers aren't mincing words about this weekend's threat. Areas that don't normally flood could flood in this event. Evacuations of flood and flash flood prone areas may be needed, and those interests along Arkansas rivers will need to monitor this developing hazardous weather situation. So it is a dangerous situation over there for sure in the States at the moment, in this part of the United States, around Missouri and Arkansas. This map shows you what is happening in terms of this huge feed of deep, as it says here, deep moisture feeding up out of the Gulf of Mexico and just pouring in to the US, into the area that's under threat. And it's a very slow moving system, and that's a big part of the problem. And if we look at the forecast through to Monday, the yellow shows 3 to 5 inches widespread, and as you can see there, St. Louis is now right bang in the middle of the heavy rain band that is forecast. And already saturated, that sums it up. Already saturated, that's what makes it so dangerous. So I'm not going to read any more of that because I've already read it in previous videos, but yeah, that's basically, I would show you the video, but it's not going to work. Yeah, so what if it's true? What if Josh really was 16 when he died? Does it really make any difference? I guess not. I guess the other thing about Josh that I have a very strong feeling on, is that he was actually bisexual. And it does actually say in the Gospel of John that Jesus, or Josh, actually loved one of his male disciples. So it doesn't say that he didn't love anyone else, but it does say that he did love one of his disciples who was also male. So that's something that you don't get, I've never heard mentioned very often in religious circles, Christian circles, but it's a fact. It's in the Gospel of John. It's right there at the Last Supper. It's right there when Jesus dies on the cross. So yeah, interesting. And there's a couple of other people who I think similarly may have been bisexual or gay. One of them is Nathan Breeze, a 13-year-old boy from Victoria in Australia, who died in the Black Saturday bushfires back on Saturday 7th of February 2009. And also Jacob Wetterling. Jacob died after being abducted by a sexual predator on Sunday the 22nd of October 1989, so almost exactly 10 years before Nathan. And it's really relevant to these boys what I think their sexuality might have been, because that's the whole nature of the connection that I've got with them. Is I'm a gay guy, and I actually think Nathan and Jacob may well have had, and in a way do have, a similar, the same kind of sexuality and personality as myself. I think connections, soul connection, spiritual connection, it really does depend, it really relies on having something in common. And I definitely sense that Jake and Nathan have both helped me. But more than that, I sense that they are soulmates, that they are very much together, that that Jacob is Nathan's boyfriend, Nathan is Jacob's boyfriend, and yeah, that's just something that I really feel very strongly. And it's from these two boys that I've basically been able to communicate this prediction, because they're the strength. They are my strength, and they give me the courage and the confidence and the ability to communicate something like this, which otherwise I couldn't do. I couldn't do it on my own. And they've given me the support and the help, the backup, the strength. And not just to do this, I mean, but to survive in a society that really isn't that nice to gay people. And you can say, oh, come on, things are pretty good these days. Well, not really. And if you want proof of that, you only have to look at Australia, where they still won't legalise same-sex marriage. And there's a lot of opposition among Christian conservatives to allowing same-sex couples to marry. And in New South Wales, they just recently abolished the Safe Schools program, which was designed to educate kids about gender diversity, and it was labelled as a social engineering dressed up as anti-bullying, which is, you know, pretty blind to the reality that if you want to stop bullying, you have to tackle it at its cause, at its root. And, you know, having anti-bullying policies doesn't stop bullying. Doesn't stop gay kids that are really troubled from committing suicide either. And, you know, I just think it's okay. It's okay to still be spiritual in a way that's not traditional. It's more than okay. I would strongly encourage anyone to embrace spirituality as a personal thing and get as far away from organised religion as possible, because it is so coercive and so dishonest and hypocritical that I just think, you know, it's like I said at the start, take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, I think there's something in this. The name Josh actually has the same value as the word flood. According to if you just take the letters in the name Josh, according to their place in the alphabet, and the letters in the name, or in the word flood, they both have a value of 52. And there certainly are going to be big floods. And the date that I've been flagging ever since Good Friday looks like it's spot on. So there you go.